Hey everyone, we're excited to have you join a webinar today about leveraging AI tools and strategies for SEO in 2025. We wanted to share some of the insights and opportunities to help navigate your strategies over the next year and highlight some opportunities for you to have success. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Dan Hinckley. I'm a co-founder at Go Fish Digital, an Agital company, and I'm here today with Chris Long.
Hey, I'm Chris Long. I'm the VP of Marketing at Go Fish Digital, helping all of our marketing operations, especially for our SEO service offering and e-commerce search service offering. Also have a lot of good experience in terms of advising and consulting on the SEO strategies for a lot of our commerce clients. At Agital, we've been fortunate enough to work with quite a few different commerce brands. On the next slide, you'll kind of see some of the bigger commerce brands and some of the other brands we've been able to work with. Everyone from Neighborly, Joybird, Brilliant Earth, Geico, Kiko. Some really great different commerce sites advising on everything from their content strategies, technical implementations, and advising them, especially in today's landscape, where the future of the e-commerce search is going. We're seeing a lot of changes to the e-commerce search results, probably more aggressively than we're seeing for any other vertical. So we want to talk about what those changes are and how AI is going to really help impact those changes.
Yeah, we've been lucky enough to help navigate the kind of changes that happened over the last year for a number of these companies, and we're excited to share some of the insights and findings that we've had to help drive success in this continual changing world. So SEO is really changing right now. We have a number of different things that are happening. Google is changing their landscape with pushing AI overviews at the top of the search results. They've increased significantly over the last algorithm update, personalized search. So being engaged in part of people's entire search journey is important. And then there's new players for the first time, really, with OpenAI and ChatGPT. Being one of the fastest growing software applications ever, with reaching 100 million users faster than anyone else has. They've rolled out ChatGPT search. They've made Chrome extensions so it can be default search engines for a number of users. And all of these changes is really kind of making an adjustment to what's happening in the search world. And as SEOs, things that we need to do to be able to help navigate and drive traffic to our sites through these tools and these adjustments. So at Go Fish and at Agital, we really like to make all of our strategies and decisions based on hard data or on techniques and established approaches that we know Google is leveraging. And so to do that, we really rely on researching and understanding the patents that they publish related to search and how they do so. Our technology and research that we do and the strategies we build is based on these patents. What we do is we take a look at them. We research and review them with our patent experts and attorneys, and then we understand and see how they're actually implemented in search today. So some of the key innovations that we've seen in patents recently include vector embeddings. We're going to talk about those today and how they use to measure semantic similarity. Things related to detecting low quality pages at scale, like compression scores. Opportunities for reviewing clusters and grouping category information across a page, and then really things related to information gain. These are all foundational elements we're going to talk about today that started or are based in Google patents, and excited to share more about that. Related to that, some of the challenges that we're all facing with these changes is that Google is really being much more aggressive at identifying content that it feels is quality. And so we wanted to take a look and understand the way that search engines might scale content score content at scale. And one of the things that they really seem to correlate in for some of our particular customers is related to the quality of your content, and that comes down to compression ratios. So we're going to talk a little bit about how we do that. We're also going to look at semantic similarity, which is related to how correlated, not necessarily an exact keyword, but semantic meaning is the content on your page, and is there gaps related to that? And then the importance of having information gain, providing more value to a customer or a user versus just providing the same content that they could find on a number of different pages. Google really wants to reward information gain, and we're going to talk about different ways that you could look and see and do those things. So today we wanted to highlight some of the tools that we use for SEO related to those problems and challenges, and we're going to highlight for you the opportunities that you can also use to understand and impact your 2025 strategy with these AI-powered tools and solutions. So the first one we mentioned previously is compression ratio. So we've developed a tool based on patents and research papers that highlight and help us break down the content across your entire site and measure it on a compression ratio. Essentially, the idea is the more that a page can be compacted or shrunk down, and with a higher compression ratio means that the content may not be of unique value. It might mean that it's using the same words a lot of time. There's not a lot of unique content or information gain. And as such, something that could be done at scale is to score content to really reduce, to identify the pages on a site that may not be adding a lot of value. One of the things that we found as we've done this with a number of different sites is that there's a high correlation between scoring of a compression ratio of 4 or higher and reduced average page clicks from search. And so it's not necessarily a one approach to solve all of these problems, but it can definitely help us identify content that we should review that could potentially be low quality. And for large e-commerce sites that have thousands of pages or lots of blog posts to help with information, we can help really navigate and say which sections of your site are potentially low quality and how we can prioritize improving those pages so that you can drive search traffic across all of your content. We're going to move over to the next tool. Chris can talk a little bit about this one for us.
Yep. So another tool and process that we found to be particularly effective, especially with commerce retailers, is automating category page text. So if you've been in commerce SEO for any amount of time, you've probably seen you have your commerce category pages and you'll scroll all the way to the bottom. There'll oftentimes be a big chunk of text that gives some additional information about what that category is. So if it's, a page about shoes, it might be, how do I find the shoes that are the proper size for me? Running shoes versus, sneakers. This text provides users and search engines with a little bit of additional context. Well, the problem for a lot of retailers is that at scale, it's very hard to create, especially if you have larger inventories, larger site categories. What we can do is actually using Screaming Frog, we can actually connect it to OpenAI's API. And what you can do is you can actually have Screaming Frog create these descriptions for you. So in the next slide, you actually see kind of an example of that, right? So you actually be able to see, hey, when you run this process through, you can go through thousands of pages on your site and actually create this bottom of the page category text here. So here's an example that we did on Steve Madden's site, right, where we had Screaming Frog go through all of their collection pages, and in about 10 minutes, it created descriptions for about 250 different category pages. And here in that bottom screenshot, you can actually see there's about 3 paragraphs of text that Screaming Frog via their OpenAI integration was able to create. Now, this text isn't perfect. You need to have a copywriter review. It's very much a starting point. However, this is an extremely powerful concept for a lot of retailers is you can create category pages at scale or create category page text at scale. It's a very, very useful process for you to be able to create a lot of this informational content, especially if you're a large e-commerce site without the resource in order to create that content. So a really great way for AI to be able to integrate with a lot of commerce sites.
Yeah, Chris,
Oh, go ahead.
was one thing is what do you think about having this text for internal linking?
Yeah, this text is also crucial for internal linking. Oftentimes, one of the strategies that we'll see is that commerce sites will add this text at the bottom, then that contextually improves that page's optimization. But then what you can do is, let's say you have your shoes page, but then you talk about some of your high performing sneaker models, you'll internally link to those category pages from the text. So the text can serve one to help make the commerce page more contextually relevant, but then also serve for contextual internal linking throughout your site. So Dan, you're right, it's kind of a double-edged sword where it helps both the individual page, but then also gives you a lot more opportunities for internal linking throughout your commerce site. It's a very natural place to add those links.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and the next tool that we wanted to talk through is another one of our proprietary tools called the similarity score extension. What this tool does is it helps basically assess whether your content is relevant to a given query. So it's one of the challenges in SEO is, we've for a long time thought of content as, hey, it's qualitative. Only a human could potentially, say whether this content is actually relevant or not. However, what we can actually do is we can actually tap into Google's own models. This tool will actually tap into the BERT model, and then it will actually extract your content and then score it to show you what sections of your content are optimized for the keyword, and what sections aren't. So in the next slide, you'll see right here an example on Target site, right? Let's say we wanted to analyze one of their commerce pages for the term Christmas tree. We'll take the page similarity score extension, we'll insert the keyword Christmas tree, and then what it will do is it'll extract all the text, run it through Vertex AI, run it through Google's BERT model, and then assess every single section and then score it. So you can see that kind of heat map scoring, the yellow, the orange. There you can see each individual section scoring against the keyword Christmas tree. So now you can start to see on your site or competitor sites, what type of content tends to perform well, which helps optimize for the target keyword, and what content doesn't. It provides a 0 through 10 score, which is really, really helpful in terms of actually numerically assessing whether your content is actually optimized for the target keyword. As well, you'll see in the bottom right that it also provides an overall page similarity score. What this is it's an average of all the vector embeddings of the page. It'll average them all together and then provide a net score of how optimized your entire page is for the content. So we find this really helpful, really great use case of Google's own AI to better assess your own content, whether you're assessing an individual section, whether you're assessing potentially adding a new section, or you even just use your aggregate page similarity score and say, hey, if I'm Target, I'm comparing this page against Home Depot, against Lowe's to see, is my page similarity score higher than them? Do I have enough in terms of similarity in order to be competitive for this keyword? So really useful extension. We use that for a lot of our client partners in terms of actually numerically identifying how relevant their content is for a given query.
We've been using this for a while. What would you say, Chris, is like a target score that would be good, or something that kind of the average score you'd be seeing on the first page of results? And what would you say to someone if they had a high scoring page, but they weren't on the first page of results?
Yeah, great question. So generally we like to see in that 8.2, the 8.2 range in terms of like the minimum threshold to reach the first page. Not a hard and fast rule as it can vary based on competition, but generally getting to that threshold is commonly what we see in terms of first page content. That tends to be a very strong score, especially for commerce pages. As well, in terms of, hey, we're seeing strong similarity scores, but for an individual page, but our content isn't there, that oftentimes points to maybe there's another opportunity, right? So maybe that individual page is good. Maybe Target has a great Christmas tree page. They lack topical authority, right? Google doesn't only look at similarity in terms of the page level. It also, based on Google's API leaks, based on their patents, we know that Google looks at similarity and the domain level. So there's probably a niche Christmas tree retailers that really focus around that product. Well, the content hubs that they've created end up scoring very high in terms of their relation to the term Christmas trees. The amount of content that they have around that topic also helps them. So then that strategy might be, hey, your page is optimized, but now if this is a really important keyword for you, well, now we need to go out and really create even more commerce pages around Christmas trees, right? White Christmas trees, specialized, different sizes, different types that we know people search for. The solution is then build new content to make your domain topically relevant for Christmas trees, not just the individual page.
Great. One of the other tools that we want to talk about was this concept of review clustering, and you may start to see it across different sites, but it's the process that we use for some of our e-commerce clients is that they generate a lot of reviews for the products that they sell. And one of the things that can be very helpful for product description pages to help with rankings is if you have unique content for the product, even if it's sold across a number of different platforms or a number of different e-commerce sites. One way to do that is to leverage the reviews. And it's not just posting the reviews themselves, but really extracting the value from that. And the way that we do that is through an AI process where we take all of the reviews, we vectorize those contents to kind of help us to cluster them and group them into similar organized themes. An example from this Christmas tree page might be something that we found that competitive price was a theme that we were seeing for this particular product from the comments that were left in the reviews. We're then able to take all of those reviews, organize them into clusters based on what they're talking about, and then use those clustered summaries to create additional content in this, like what you can see from the screenshot, like what others say about this Christmas tree. So it's taking the reviews, aggregating them at whole, and then pulling out the common themes that are across them and putting them into a text copy that's then valuable to both customers that can help with conversion rates, but it can also help search engines see that, hey, this page has some additional insightful information from real customers, and it's organized in a way that's easy for users to see what those main points are. So this is a tool that can definitely be helpful for building a strong AI strategy and improving your product description pages in 2025. The next tool we want to talk about was another in-house proprietary tool we have that's called Barracuda. It's an AI-driven page analysis tool that really looks at the search results for a target keyword, your target page, competitor pages, entities, information gaps, a number of different internal linking opportunities, how your page meta descriptions and title tags are working, the semantic scoring of your content, similar to the Chrome extension that we showed earlier, the semantic scoring of competitors, so you can really see the differences between how you're performing and competitors to then build a strong recommendation for it. So Barracuda is a tool that really helps us to do this at scale across a number of pages. Here's just a couple screenshots from this tool. You can see that it does things like look at the search results people also ask. It helps you score and see if your page is providing an answer to those questions, or if maybe it's an opportunity to add content. You can see on the left, we also have that scoring metrics on that 10-point scale that Chris talked about previously. It can help give a full page level score, and then you can see the difference between competitors. We also leverage natural language processing APIs from Google to do things like entity analysis, extracting those to see which entities are used the most, see what entities are being used on competitor pages, and then what entity gaps exist between your page and competitors to really help you drive strategy. Barracuda is a great tool that we leverage internally to help us really do deep, insightful analysis of your page and competitors' pages at a data level and an information gap level, and do so at scale and quickly. It really takes the research time down from hours to minutes, and then allows you to really provide recommendations at scale. So this tool is one that we have leveraged internally. We'd love to provide opportunities for you to kind of have a demo and see how that works. We'll have some ways that you can reach out to us to schedule that type of a demo. But it's really the strongest when we show you how it's working on your site and your pages. Chris is going to talk a little bit more about semantic relevance.
Yeah, so not only have we been working with a lot of retailers, AI processes to improve their search presence, right? Whether it's, some of the things we talked about, whether it's compression ratios, whether it's, automated ways of creating content. A lot of the questions we're getting asked, especially around the changing search results, are, hey, how do I get included in some of the LLM-driven features? Right now, there tend to be two. ChatGPT search and AI overviews. They're currently what's dominating basically a lot of the search presence around those two, really popular platforms. What's interesting is Google holds multiple patents around how it actually forms its LLM-driven search results. And one thing we're finding from those patents is like semantic relevance within those is key, right? So like those systems really reward content that not only is contextually relevant across one query type, but is actually contextually relevant across multiple different semantic relationships, right? So it's not just enough to have your keyword targeting one thing. If you want to rank for something like Harry Potter or something like that, you need to have multiple semantic relationships in there, talking about Dumbledore and Voldemort and all these different things. So understanding the semantic relevance of an individual page is key to kind of favor those AI systems. As well, another strategy that we're seeing work quite well for optimizing for these LLM-driven features is structuring your content in a way that's very easy for the LLM to parse out exactly what the information is. So structuring things in almost code form, like key value pairs, structured lists, bullet points. We found that to be extremely impactful in terms of optimizing for both AI overviews and ChatGPT search. Which is really cool is we've been doing a lot of cool experience. We actually have a case study of how we've optimized for ChatGPT search on our own site. This was really interesting because right after ChatGPT search came out, we were searching the term best digital PR agencies. It's a service our agency offer. It's driven a lot of leads from us on the SEO side. So we wanted to do some different testing around ChatGPT. What we found was in ChatGPT search, when we searched for the best digital PR agencies, they would show the Go Fish Digital, but they would only show a couple of different like sub bullet points about us. They would talk about maybe our specialization, some of the industries we worked in, but they wouldn't include like a really key piece of information called notable clients that you'll see at the top there. That was actually missing from our listing, but they listed it for every competitor but us. So we said, hey, well, what happens if we performed a test? What happens if we took the content that ChatGPT search is scraping in and optimized it so it actually included our notable clients in terms of a key value pair. So we went into that content, we actually made those edits. So we included, 4 or 5 of like our really strong digital PR clients, and then we waited. And then we waited about a week, and then we requeried ChatGPT search again. And this time when it scraped our own article, it included the notable clients that we had listed in the content. So a really cool use case of like how we were able to directly influence ChatGPT search results by editing the content, right? So a lot of the questions we're getting around ChatGPT search is how do we get included? It's a two-step process, right? One, you need an article, especially if it's using the search function. You need an article that's eligible to get scraped in, so you can note the different types of articles Google's pulling into ChatGPT search. And then what you can do is once you're getting pulled in and Google is citing you as a, or ChatGPT is citing you as a reference, you can then edit that post to make edits to that content, and then that can actually get reflected in ChatGPT's interface and how it actually reports in your brand. So really cool case study of how we had limited information about one of our brand and how we were able to get ChatGPT search to give us a much more robust result by performing some basic SEO best practices.
So related to that, ChatGPT has been around for a couple of years now, and we hear more and more about it. But is it something in 2025 that people are going to really need to consider? Like, what do you say, has been the impact for Go Fish Digital's clients in terms of how much traffic they're seeing from ChatGPT, and like, what's the general trend?
Yeah, general trend we see it significantly increasing, right? Studies came out not that long ago that just said that ChatGPT has basically surpassed Bing in terms of market share. We're seeing that with traffic to our site. A lot more traffic to our site gets referenced in terms of ChatGPT search because it actually attributes it. ChatGPT will actually attribute some of the traffic that it sends because it depends that parameter, so you can track it in your own analytics. We're seeing more traffic and more leads and inbound partnerships come in because they've referenced ChatGPT. And one of the exciting things about them adding the search functionality is because it now acts more like a traditional search engine, there's more influence that we as marketers can even have on the technology. So we're seeing in our industry, which is marketing, which tends to be obviously a bit faster moving, but if it's a general trend of how general usage of ChatGPT is going, we only see that increasing in 2025 and beyond.
Yeah, I know that for one of our clients, they went from basically 0 visits from ChatGPT in July to 400 a month in November and December. And that number just continuing to go up each month. And we anticipate that trend to continue in 2025. So last, we wanted to talk a little bit about, why Agital could be a great opportunity for you guys as you're looking for marketing partners and specifically navigating SEO in these changing times with AI. Is You know, we really spend a lot of time, as we talked about with Google's patents and technologies, we're staying on the cutting edge of what's happening with all of these changes from a technical perspective, and then how you can apply that to your website. So things like compression scores, vector embeddings, these things are all newer to SEO. We're figuring out how to build those into our tools to help them drive our strategies and our recommendations. And we'd love to do that with you and your customer in your website. We're also building proprietary tools that allow us to do things faster and at scale, leveraging these tools to really help us be able to see a complete picture and leveraging the technology, not just to understand the content, but to drive recommendations. And lastly, these strategies are really tailored to navigate these changing landscapes. So as you saw from Chris's case studies and examples, we're looking at opportunities on how to influence ChatGPT search, how to influence Bing, looking at all the opportunities for ways that people may be navigating. And if you're interested, we have this QR code here on the right that you can scan with your phone. It'll take you to a page to set up a demo, or you'll be able to, you know, through the click a link on this on a PDF of this presentation to sign up for a demo. We talk about these tools, how they could apply and specifically to your website, and would love to have that opportunity and conversation with you.
And this is just one example of how some of these tactics actually apply themselves in the real world using real world data. This was an apparel client. They had a very, very large fashion marketplace, but a lot of the store hadn't been expanded out. They had a fairly lean team, so they were really open to using more AI, using a lot of the processes that we talked about to really help scale their SEO efforts. So we work with them on a lot of this, and especially, for instance, creating a lot of their using AI to fuel creating a lot of their descriptions. Having AI help identify internal linking opportunities at scale for them. We were able to pretty quickly grow their search presence, and in about in a month time, we were able to have 36% increase in month-over-month clicks, 2,600% increase in year-over-year clicks. At net, or in total, they were getting about 6 million clicks from search, and a 40% increase in month-over-month impressions. So this shows how some of these techniques that we're able to leverage for clients really helps and can really help you not only improve your e-commerce search results, but do it at a faster rate, right? That's one of the biggest benefits of using AI is it even for e-commerce teams that don't have the internal resourcing, or maybe have a harder time getting buy-in to start initiatives, AI often can act and perform research at scale, create content. It's going to be a lot of useful for your commerce site. So this is a great case study that we're super proud of, and how we really leverage a lot of these tactics in order to see great results for our client.
Yeah, it's kind of unbelievable to see that type of growth, especially with 6 million plus clicks to do so. And it was I know it was a fun project to work on, and a lot of success gained in terms of building market share and brand recognition for this retail customer. So that's generally what we have for our presentation today. We'd love to answer any questions you have. Feel free to reach out to us from navigating to our website, our contact form. Send us a note. Happy to schedule a demo with you guys to show some of these tools and how they may work specifically with your website. And look forward to hearing from you. And thanks everyone for your time today. All right.